Stugotz here for Upside. Like I've been telling you for a while now, if you travel for business, stop wasting time pricing your flights and hotels at the same old sites you used to go to. The only site you need is Upside.com. It's quick and easy for Upside to show you the exact flights you're looking for and the big-name hotels you want to stay at. You can buy them separately or bundle them together. That's what I do. You can even add a ride. And by bundling 2 or more selections, you'll experience the real magic of using Upside. See, the more you bundle, the more you save. The bigger the gift card you receive to places like Amazon.com every time you buy a business travel package using Upside. And their expert navigators are always available 24/7 through phone, chat, social, and email to help anytime before, during, and after your business trip to make sure it goes smoothly. Upside's the real deal for buying your business trips. You got to give them a try. And right now, when you use promo code Dan, you are guaranteed to get at least a $100 Amazon.com gift card on your package purchase. That's code Dan to get a $100 gift card free. Upside.com, the better way to buy business travel. Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So, as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
This is the Dan Lebator Show with the Stugotz podcast.
It is our Monday, so we are going to be doing this because of Hurricane Irma, because we've had a couple of paid days off to clean up our yards. And we didn't have internet access for a little while here in South Florida. Some of us don't have power. So this is our Monday, and we're going to be doing weekend observations by Stugotz. We're going to do funniest thing from the sports weekend. Many of you are bombarding us. We're going to do a lot of football. You're bombarding us. You want us to talk about Jamel Hill and Sergio Dip. We will at some point. We're just not going to start the show there. The thing that I wanted to talk to Stugotz about, and today Maria Sharapova is going to join us. T-Boz from TLC is going to join us. I wanted to talk to you about Tony Romo's debut as a broadcaster, because he did, I think, just about the only thing that he could have done to get noticed that way, because I feel like most of those guys are pretty interchangeable, but he was doing something on television that we haven't seen done before, which is he was correctly predicting plays all game.
Yes.
All game he was doing that, and made me wonder, as I saw the clips, Gannon, Berline, what the hell have the rest of you been doing? I think most quarterbacks could probably do that, but I haven't heard anyone on television. Collinsworth does it once a month. I haven't heard anyone on television do that way, where Tony Romo told you 10 times what was going to happen on the next play.
And Jim Nantz really seemed to embrace it, because he was teeing up Romo. Like, Tony, what's coming here? What's happening here? And Romo was right every single time.
But what I want to ask you is first the value of that, because I don't know the value of that. I just know that I haven't seen it before, and I haven't heard it before. And one of my laments in the coverage of that sport is we just don't have the quantifiables like we do in basketball and baseball. And it feels to me a lot of times like the people watching who are claiming to be experts don't sometimes even know the rules. Never mind the ability to analyze what it is that we're watching the way Romo was, which he would see what the quarterback was doing or see what the defense was doing and say, look, the quarterback is audibling to this. This is going to be a run to the left side, or here come the two safeties. The two linebackers are going to blitz here. He was seeing the game like a quarterback, and my question became, why is Gruden not doing that? Why is John Gruden not? And
telling you what's going to happen before it actually happens.
Does it have value to you? Because it's a legitimate question. Like, there is some look at me in it. There is the announcer showing off. That's the announcer showing off there is what's happening. I'm asking you, what's the real value of it other than to Tony Romo?
It was different, and I understand. I think you liked it, and it was different. For me, it ruined the game a little bit, because he's telling me what's going to happen before it happens, and I'd like to be surprised. I'd like to see for myself what's going to happen. Like, the first couple of times it was cool, but then once I realized he actually knew what was going to happen, I don't want to be told what's going to happen before it actually happens. It's like telling me the end of a movie before I actually watch it for myself.
Spoiler alert. This is going to be a run to the left.
Do you think there's something to be said for how freshly removed Tony Romo is from the game? he would know what the Tennessee Titans are going to do probably better than a Steve Berline just because he was in camp.
But could Cutler have done that?
Ago.
If Jay Cutler...
I was thinking I would have loved to have seen it. And it would have been so
Jay
cool.
Cutler would have got him wrong, right? Jay Cutler's going to say, look, quarterback needs to throw it out into the flat here, and that would have been exactly what the defense needed to do to pick six it.
What is he going to do here? Go long. What's he going to do here? Go long.
Don't care. What's he going to do here? Don't care.
It's the don't care. He's probably going to throw a pass. Whatever. Maybe a run. See what happens.
Man, it would have been so awesome, though, if you were right. Every time, just take a rip from a cigarette and just blow it up in the air.
More entertaining, though, if Cutler does it and he's wrong every time.
Yes.
I think.
Well, but I'm just wondering, like, how you guys feel about it, because I feel like most of us were amazed by it because nobody else in broadcasting has ever done that way. And I saw that he was getting a whole lot of applause. Man, that buys you a lot of credibility. Stugotz, just starting that way, coming out of the box that way, you're doing it different than anyone's ever done it, and you're right every time as we're watching, and we don't really know what we're watching, and you're right every time. It buys you so much credibility the next time you say, that's a good quarterback play, when Mariota just throws a 5-yard out and he's just throwing it away because Mac is making his way on the inside, and he's saying, look, you live for second down there. That's a smart play. He threw it away. It looks like an incompletion to the rest of you. It looks like it was inaccurate and it was the bad play. That is smart quarterbacking by Mariota. It's a 5-yard out, and Mac was going to disrupt that play, and he did the right thing to just play for second down.
It's pretty cool. It was unique, but again, after a while, and after I realized he actually knew what he was talking about, it got tiresome for me. I was wondering, like, did he do that as a player? Do quarterbacks do that? If they know what's coming, do they tell the defense, hey, this is what's coming here?
Tell the defense?
Like when he was playing for Dallas, if he hears something, does he tell the defense, hey, this is coming?
He'd have to be playing defense to do that.
Because I was just thinking, like, if he knew what was coming, you'd think he'd have a better career as a quarterback.
I mean, he was a really
By
good
telling his defense what's coming?
Well, by telling his defense what was coming, and if he has that ability, if he knows exactly what the defense is going to do on every single play, you'd think he would have won more playoff games. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like that's sort of secondary to his responsibilities while the defense is on the field.
Well, team player, man. Pitch in.
I mean,
it's a bizarre take.
Well, I was wondering, like, do defensive coordinators know everything that's coming every single time? Do they know what's coming?
How did you take this conversation over here? Like, how?
That's what I like to do.
But what you're doing is totally nonsensical, and all you did was break the segment. Like, I don't understand what you're saying. Tony Romo doesn't know everything that's coming. That's the Patriots. Tony Romo showed you the times that he knew something was coming. He wasn't doing it all game. He did it 5 or 6 times and was right each time that he did it.
Right. I felt like he could have done it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he'll start doing that moving forward here.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to be quiet for a little while. I think that would be best for the moment.
Why, you disagree with me?
I just don't know what you're doing. You're taking the segment off into you're telling us that Tony Romo is a clairvoyant oracle who should have won all the games because he knew everything that was happening before it was happening, and you sound like a dope.
Well, I mean, how's that different than any other day?
Tell you something, this Mike Pereira hates this whole Dean Blandino experiment. Hates it. You see what they're doing? They're sharing the screen. As if Pereira wasn't good enough on his own.
That's bad.
Cutting into his time. I'm not sure why both of them have to be there, and I'm pretty sure Mike Pereira feels the exact same way.
Well, why are they both there? What's that?
It's redundant. At least split up some games. Why did they both need to go to Fox? I thought Fox had that pretty well covered. It's not like they had Mike Carey there. He hates this.
Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does Pereira hate the Blandino experiment? How was the great Blandino?
I mean, it was well executed. It was just less words for Pereira, which I think could become a problem.
That's a bad thing.
Because he's had a decade of just getting
Pereira
all the shine.
doesn't dress that way on Sundays because he doesn't want to be seen.
It just was less time for both of them. But Blandino's cool because he's getting, number 1 game right here, elbowing out Pereira. He's elbowing him out of the shot, dude.
Well, but Fox did do that. The Pereira thing, Pereira is widely acknowledged to be the best at that. Mike Carey is widely acknowledged to have been the worst at that. Well, you know what? Let me talk about CBS for a moment. I want to talk about CBS for just a second. Thank you for bringing this up. It's off to the side. But does it not feel like CBS's Sunday football coverage has a pasty film on it? That it just feels, the whole thing feels musty. Like everything. Their pregame show, that CBS just, Guillermo, put this on the poll. Does CBS's Sundays feel just a little cheaper?
Sims, Esiason, Nance.
All of it.
How'd you draw that conclusion?
It's just got a film on it. It's got like, I'm having a hard time explaining. It doesn't feel as vibrant as the other football coverage.
Well, the people that watch CBS out of all the networks, they have the oldest audience. So they cater to that audience, which is why there are about 75,000 NCISs.
So, but that's what they're doing. They're catering purposely. Like they should sit on plastic furniture in the studio. They're purposely catering. They're trying to harken back to the time when it was Musburger and Jimmy the Greek and Phyllis George in front of a single phallic microphone. Like yeah, you might be right because CBS does pride itself on being that, but it doesn't feel antique or like memorabilia. It just feels old.
I think given what we've always experienced with CBS's broadcast, that only helped Tony Romo stand out more. I mean, didn't make Phil Simms look good just by comparison.
But that's not what I'm talking about. What the hell was Simms doing all those years?
I can't explain Sims.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
But don't make it Sims. All the quarterbacks, whoever's at ESPN who does it too. I don't mean to be singling out the other network.
Yeah, but the game's got to be a million times different for a quarterback now than it was in Phil Simms' day.
But you think it's that different than when Rich Gannon is doing the games?
Oh, of course it is, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
All these read options. I'm sure Phil Simms thinks it's crazy what's going on now.
You think Gannon knows what's coming next?
You think Phil Simms is watching and is like, what the hell is this? It's moving so fast. I mean, it did sound like that to him. Like what was coming out of his mouth does suggest that all of it was moving too fast.
I mean, Simms handed the ball to Otis Anderson 25 times a game.
Yeah.
That was it. And in 10 years, Romo's not going to be able to do that, right?
I don't know. I guess that's a decent theory. I'm wondering why no one's ever done that before. Like my first thought on that was, hey, Burline. That's it. There was no thought after that. It was just, hey, Burline.
The game's changed so much. If they asked Phil Simms what's going to happen here, he would say halfback dive.
Yeah. Okay.
Batard.
What did I do today? I didn't blame white people for anything. Is it because I said, can you imagine if Cam Newton did Carson Palmer's sideline dance?
Could have been that. Could have been, body of work, lifetime achievement.
Stugotz.
Well, I didn't do anything today.
Yet.
Give me time. I got 25 minutes before I can blame white people for something.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, I don't know what the poll question was at Le Batard Show, but what I would like for it to be is, does CBS's Sunday football coverage feel like it has a film on it? It's like walking on a tile floor that looks clean, but when you walk on it barefoot, you can tell it's not. That's what Sundays on CBS feel like to me in every way. The clothing that the anchors are wearing, the set that they're on, the grainy footage. I don't know why it feels that way to me, and I think might be onto something there, that they're trying to make it comfortable for old people the same way they do with that piano in the morning on that Sunday morning news show. That's a great show.
Love that show.
It's a great show.
Good.
It's a great show, but it's a show for old people.
Yes, it is.
But it is. It's a great show. I'll be hypnotized by it. But they end it by just showing a nature scene for 90 seconds in the name of serenity. That's not normal network television.
Yeah. All the great fancy different artwork of a sun.
Yes.
Love that show. Makes me feel smarter.
Yeah. Something that makes me feel dumber. The NFL. I don't know. And this is such a great thing to chew on. That I don't know if for years I've been being unfair to Sam Bradford and Alex Smith, not because of this one game that they had, but because specifically how differently they look when they've got skill guys that could take one of those throws 80 yards. I still find Bradford maddening. He's the new Alex Smith. My Lord, does he love to check down. But in that particular game that they crushed the Saints on, they had a bunch of big plays, and his skill guys change things. His offensive line is better. And so I get confused. It makes me feel dumb what I'm watching, where I'm like, I don't understand how to measure the quarterback's value against what's around him.
It is interesting because Alex Smith, in his case, he does have two guys now where he could throw them the ball 10, 15 yards and they could take it to the house. They could score a touchdown. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Kareem Hunt. And with the Vikings, they have Stephon Diggs. So I understand your confusion.
It's not just Diggs. It's Thielen, too. It's not just Diggs.
And Dalvin Cook.
And Thielen's not getting it because he's white, but people don't realize that's a white deep threat. Man, we don't have a lot of those. And people don't think that guy's good. That guy's really good. And I just don't know how to separate these things when I'm watching these quarterbacks. And it's confounding to me. For example, I know that A.J. Green would be great with any quarterback.
Right.
Just like Randy Moss was great with every quarterback except Aaron Brooks. So I don't know if Andy Dalton is sitting here getting propped up by A.J. Green, and if Andy Dalton would have been out of the league already if he had to play any seasons the way Bradford had to play the last one. Like, I just don't know how to do the math on that stuff. Andy Dalton threw as many interceptions on Sunday as Kaepernick threw all of last year.
I know, it's crazy.
He got shut out. You can't win with that guy. You can't. You're stuck in a purgatory with him. And I wonder if he would simply be out of the league or would be Osweiler if he had been put in Osweiler's position. Hey, Dalton, go play this year with Houston. Everything's going to be a disaster. But because he's had A.J. Green, has A.J. Green kept him in the league? I know Odell Beckham has kept Eli Manning a little bit younger, and you saw what Eli Manning looked like without Odell Beckham.
It was pretty bad. So you're wondering if A.J. Green has kept Andy Dalton around longer than Andy Dalton should have been here.
I feel dumb. I'm watching it, and I just can't do the measurements. Like, I know Aaron Rodgers will be great with anybody, and it seems like Tom Brady will be great with anybody. But after that, like, I'm baffled by what it is that I'm watching, because now I look at the Chiefs, and I'm like, man, Kelsey's their third option? That's pretty good.
Yes.
And so is that what because Alex Smith looked like the best. Alex Smith and Sam Bradford looked like the best passers in that league this weekend. And Bradford was getting more protection. O-line was awful last year. And his skill guys were good. So even though I'm exasperated by the way Bradford plays, he had like 7 or 8 20-yard throws in that game. That was a big game for Bradford, even though I hate the aesthetics of it.
But I feel like I've seen both those guys have that game before, and I need to see him do it again and do it more consistently.
No, of course, but what I'm saying is if I give you that for this season, then where are we? Of course, one game doesn't mean anything, but I don't know how to do the entanglement on how much is a guy being made by his wide receiver, because when you saw Donovan McNabb's numbers, the way they changed when he had T.O.
Yep.
Go look at it. Go look at his Football Reference page and look at what changed when T.O. got there in terms of everything happening with Donovan McNabb. And furthermore, look at it with Brady when Moss got there. Look at how the numbers change. And so, with the lesser quarterbacks, Alex Smith right now has 3 guys that when you saw them play against the Patriots, it makes it confusing because they're 3 guys that look like if you do the dump-off game with them, they could always make it an 80-yard play. Well, not 3 guys. They got 2 of those guys. And then they've got a tight end who's also, like Gronk Jr. Yeah, it really does. I'm not kidding you when I tell you it makes me feel dumb when I'm watching.
The only year McNabb threw for more than 30 touchdowns was the year that T.O. was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's not just that, though. Look at the QB rating. Look at Donovan McNabb's. Go ahead, let's do it this way. Just by year. Let's see if we could spot. Don't even tell us which year is the T.O. year. Just give us quarterback ratings by year for Donovan McNabb.
60.1, 77.8, 84.3, 86, 79.6, 85, 95.5, 89.9, 77.1, 104.7.
It might be what's the 104.7? I thought it was the 95. Is the 104.7 T.O.?
Yep.
Look at me now. I'm getting paper.
So his career quarterback rating average was what? His average quarterback rating, McNabb, for his career?
85.6.
And the 1 year he has T.O. 104. Blink cameras will protect your home from the inside out. Protect yourself and your family today by installing Blink cameras in your home. Tell them, God.
Yep, here's why cops choose Blink Home Security to protect their homes and families. Blinks are small video cams you install yourself inside and out. I have them all over the house, guys. They are fantastic, and they took me less than 10 minutes to install. If I can do it, anyone can do it. They're wire-free and run on 2 batteries that last 2 years. Blinks are motion activated. They're always on duty. The instant Blink detects something, you get a video alert on your smartphone. Blink helps stop crime before it happens. Order now and get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Go to blinkprotect.com/Dan today. That's blinkprotect.com/Dan.
You're listening to the titillating Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio. Le Batard.
Let's get it crunk up on them, happen on them, in the dancer, we got you open doors, open doors,
Stugotz.
don't need no direction, holleration, so just stand for me, look at it, percolating, while you're waiting, so just stand for me, everybody get on up, cause you know not let it run.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
For the record, we just did a segment about quarterback play, about Sam Bradford and Alex Smith. I wasn't talking politics. You guys are inundating me with requests for me to talk about Jamel Hill. Inundating me. I'm the one, when I go into politics, you guys, and I don't even go into politics, when I go even near the edges of politics by trying to talk pop culture with Trump, you guys bombard me. But now we've got an issue here, and I was just doing quarterback play, and you guys are inundating me, demanding that I talk about what you view as the hypocrisy between some of the other disciplines that have been met out by ESPN regarding Curt Schilling or Colin Cowherd or Ryan Russillo or white people, and now what's happening with Jamel Hill. For those of you who do not know, Jamel Hill on Twitter, I don't even know what the word is. Is it supremacist or supremacist? A white supremacist. She called Trump a white supremacist. I don't know what the word is. Supremacist or supremacist. Whatever it is, she said he was that. And so ESPN sent out a statement saying, yeah, that's not the opinion of the network, and she's been talked to about that, and that it's inappropriate. And for those of you who believe Curt Schilling was fired for being conservative, he was not. He was fired for talking politics relentlessly when they told him to stop. And I'm sure Jamel Hill has been also told to stop because they do not want us talking about that stuff. Because you want sports from this network, and largely it gives you sports, and sometimes some of the politics seeps into it, but let Jamel Hill go ahead and forsake that many, many times and see what happens to her, because it'll be like Curt Schilling if she keeps doing that. Now, all of that said, Ta-Nehisi Coates, the best writer of any kind writing in America right now, and specifically on the subject of race, also excellent. He has made that a phrase. I still don't know the phrase, whether it's white supremacist or white supremacist, but he has made that a phrase that has been diluted some. White supremacist, the way that he's using it, doesn't always mean Klansmen. It just sort of means the idea of whites having the power and being in power. And so the difference, I think there, and I haven't talked to Jamel about this, right, but to me there is a distinction between the idea of white power, white being in power, and the idea of Klansmen and neo-Nazis and all that stuff. And so Ta-Nehisi Coates has done the way that he writes about white power, just flatly in plain facts, makes it feel sometimes like the phrase is diluted, that it's not quite Klansmen, that it's something softer than that. And so I would imagine that's what Jamel meant. Regardless, ESPN doesn't want us talking about any of this stuff. But you seem to want us to talk about this stuff.
I don't.
Well, the audience seems to want us to talk about this stuff when it involves ESPN. And to me, all of this is fascinating for a number of different reasons, right? Because the Pandora's box has been opened on the president has made it so that he is always a pop culture topic. Politics has become pop culture the way that he's doing it. And I get why ESPN doesn't want us doing that here. doing politics here, doing straight political talk here.
Now, she was doing it on Twitter, right?
They don't want us doing it, Stugotz. Like,
well, they don't have to worry about me because I'm not doing it.
You know what I mean? But it's just they prefer we not do it. They prefer we not sit here and have all of these political discussions. And I get why they'd prefer that we not do that. But I just, like, this network just hired Hank Williams Jr. after some of the things that he said. And Mike, help me out here on the music, because I didn't know that Hank Williams Jr. was still making relevant music. And when I saw that Monday Night Football open, I winced because I thought it was pretty terrible. But the things that got Hank Williams gone from this network, he's now back on this network with our signature product, which costs $1.9 billion to put on Monday night.
Yeah, Hank Williams Jr. was a part of it. Obviously, he had the famed Monday Night Football song, and I think he's sort of handing it off to Jason Derulo and Florida Georgia Line. And yes, he has had several sort of political opinions. He also has a song in his catalog, If the South Would Have Won.
Mm-hmm. And ESPN just hired that guy. What I'm telling you here is that ESPN would prefer, I think understandably, for us not to do, not just us, just anybody involved with doing sports for this company.
Right.
Doing politics in a way that's heavy-handed, that's not pop culture, that's not. So whether you believe what Jemele Hill said is true or not, she's not going to get fired for a first offense on doing something like that. She's valuable, and that, I mean, Curt Schilling was a recidivist. He was not let go for being conservative. He was let go because he wouldn't stop doing it after people kept telling him to stop doing it.
Do you agree with the people? Because I read a bit about this over the weekend, and so Clay Travis and some others have been writing. Do you agree with, hey, if you're going to call something, because, Dan, there is a negative connotation to calling someone that, right?
Yes, of course.
That you have to be 100% sure that he is indeed before you just put that out
I don't
on Twitter?
like calling people racist. I will identify what I believe to be behavior that's racist. I do not like calling people racist. There are very few instances in which you will have heard me call a person a racist instead of saying that that person was guilty of a racist action. But what I'm telling you about here, look, man, Bill Simmons, the last straw on Bill Simmons was around here was viewed, and it was the last straw because there was some recidivism there as well. He called Roger Goodell a liar. That was viewed as the last straw. But the rule around here at ESPN, the governing rule on how to criticize is critique the behavior, not the person. So if you want to say something that Donald Trump did appears racist, it's different than simply saying he's a racist. If you want to say that Roger Goodell lied, it's different than calling him at his core a liar. And so if you fall on the right side of that, it becomes easier to navigate some of this stuff. But yes, to your point, you want to be sure on something like that. But again, I don't even think that that's what she meant. What I'm telling you is that Ta-Nehisi Coates has made that phrase something different. That phrase isn't Klansman anymore. That phrase is...
Well, to him, it's not.
Well, but okay, to him it's not. No, I get it.
Right.
I get it. Fair point. But I think to Jemele, too, I would argue, without having talked to her, I would argue that the phrase has been diluted some, that you're not calling someone a Klansman, that you're talking about the idea of whites in power and what they could do when they're in power.
Batard.
Bouquet of gardenias. Hashtag hot hashtag erotica.
Stugotz.
Dimitri, what is bouquet gardenia? I click the heart and then I log out, right? Off the Kurt Rambis' account.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So, to reiterate, the sports gas bags probably should stay out of the realm of politics. The places and the times that we venture over into that is when it becomes, pop culture or guy talk. Ted Cruz likes porn. So what were you saying about Tom Brady? What were you saying about Tom Brady by year, his quarterback rating?
Because we were talking about McNabb and what happened to McNabb and his numbers when he got Terrell Owens for that 1 year, and it was obviously the best year McNabb ever had. So I'll just give you Brady's quarterback ratings, and you see if you could figure out the Randy Moss year. Okay?
Moss year or years? It was a couple of years, right? Moss years? All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. 42.4, 86.5, 85.7, 85.9, 92.6, 87.9, 83.9, 87.3, 117.2, 111.1.
It's crazy. Like, I do find it confounding. For example, I don't know how much I would pay Matt Ryan if I did not have Julio Jones. I really don't.
Fair point.
And
yes.
I'm honestly, if Andy Dalton, if I simply eliminated A.J. Green, I think Andy Dalton is a career backup. Honestly.
I think you're probably right. I do.
And I find it maddening to not be able to identify. I think it's why I've got such a man crush on Aaron Rodgers. He makes it easy. Yeah, I know you're good. I can just see it. It doesn't matter who's playing with you. It's there, and I know you're good.
Touchdown throws real quick. 18, 28, 23, 28, 26, 24, 50.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's funny.
It is.
But if you're the Vikings or if you're the Chiefs, you're excited by what it is that you saw, because the things that were weaknesses about you in week one were not weaknesses in any way. We've got some Magic Johnson sound I want to get to. We don't really have time to do it here, I don't think. Mike, do we have time? How long is it? Here, yes, we like to end segments with a joke, so go.
I knew that in my heart that we had tampered with it. But at the same time, we were warned. We did cross a line that we shouldn't have crossed. And Adam Silver did his job, and so I take full responsibility because I'm the president of basketball. And so this happened on my watch. It doesn't affect Jeannie Buss. She's been an excellent boss. I love her to death. I love working for her. But at the same time, you have to take ownership and accountability. And so I will do that. And would I admit we did something wrong? No, I would never admit that, because we haven't. But at the same time, we have.
That was such a word salad. And then the last couple of sentences, it's like disregard everything I just said.
Yeah, Stugotz is strong in that one.
Stugotz is strong. I mean, one word to describe how it is that all of that ends up running the Los Angeles Lakers, ladies and gentlemen. That one word is, it's magic.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Stugotz here for Upside. Like I've been telling you for a while now, if you travel for business, stop wasting time pricing your flights and hotels at the same old sites you used to go to. The only site you need is Upside.com. It's quick and easy for Upside to show you the exact flights you're looking for and the big-name hotels you want to stay at. You can buy them separately or bundle them together. That's what I do. You can even add a ride. And by bundling two or more selections, you'll experience the real magic of using Upside. See, the more you bundle, the more you save. The bigger the gift card you receive to places like Amazon.com every time you buy a business travel package using Upside. And their expert navigators are always available 24/7 through phone, chat, social, and email to help anytime before, during, and after your business trip to make sure it goes smoothly. Upside's the real deal for buying your business trips. You got to give them a try. And right now, when you use promo code Dan, you are guaranteed to get at least a $100 Amazon.com gift card on your package purchase. That's code Dan to get a $100 gift card free. Upside.com, the better way to buy business travel. Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So, as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
Le Batard.
Coughlin goes on to say that he would like to try and help Odell Beckham Jr. It's not your team anymore, Tom.
Stugotz.
All right, seriously. If you're Ben McAdoo, you do not want to hear that. Get your beak out of my business. That old, red, crusty beak. Like, who is Tom Coughlin to come in? I'd like to reach out to Odell Beckham Jr. You had your chance when you were the head coach of the Giants. Now you're not, okay? Move on, Tom. It's Ben's job now. You think Ben McAdoo wants Tom Coughlin's help? Honestly. Do you think he does?
Well, I'm going to let the audience...
He took his job. You think he wants his help now?
Thank you for asking me a question and then just continuing to steamroll.
Sure.
You're always there for me that way.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We are trying to fix the phone line of T-Boz of TLC. She is scheduled to be on with us in a little bit, has a new book out. Carson Palmer's an interesting one on the wide receiver front, because I do think that Larry Fitzgerald and David Johnson and a couple of others extended the life of Carson Palmer in the NFL, and that life is now over. I mean, he is a quarterback who is spent. He doesn't have much left. We saw that happening last year, but it's one of those things where, man, it's hard to do the math on your quarterbacks when the skill guys are expanding his margin for error. Getting back to what it is that we were talking about here before, Stugotz, because the people are clamoring here. They're really mad about this entire situation with Jamel Hill, and they want Jamel Hill fired, and they view a double standard. So many different angles on this, right? ESPN is viewed as throwing Jamel Hill under the bus for putting a public relations statement out that says that her thoughts are not our thoughts. Jamel Hill's always inundated with racism, and so now it looks like the company's not supporting her by merely talking to her. And on the other side, what you've got is a bunch of people saying, well, we'll talk to her. Why don't you fire her? Why does she still have a job? And so you can't please. ESPN is in the position where it can't please anybody, because if it fires her, they're wrong. If they talk to her, which is nothing. Bosses talk to employees all the time. They're wrong. If they send out a press release, they're wrong. And if they support her, they're wrong on that side by people who think that she should be fired. So it's just total no-win which is why they want us out of politics.
Right.
It's a no-win situation for them. It's why they don't want us talking about it.
Well, thankfully, T-Boz is here, which is a win-win situation for me.
All right, new book, A Sick Life. Nice transition.
Thank
Available now. Thank you for joining us, T-Boz, at the height of everything it is that TLC was. Give us the moment where you looked around and you were like, I can't believe that we've arrived here. This is the most amazing thing. This is the top of music. Here's what it looks like.
It was awesome when we were in the category for Viewers' Choice Award, and we were up against all the hard hitters like Hootie and the Blowfish, REM, Garth Brooks, Michael and Janet for Scream, and they picked us, like the voters, and I was like, oh my God. We were like, when the camera came over there, I was like, oh, they're only over here to get our reaction when we lose. we won. The people picked us over everybody. I was like, what? I was like, hey, we're doing it now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. New book available now, A Sick Life. She's lived longer than she thought she would. She has overcome a lot of stuff, and we will get to all of that stuff with her in a moment. But we are a sports radio station, allegedly, radio outfit here. So I'm just curious, did you have anything crazier in your life than the Andre Rison, Left Eye Lopez relationship? Like, was there anything in the life of TLC crazier than that?
Burning down houses? Nah. Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Because Left Eye...
I'd be concerned if she did.
Right, but I mean, music can be crazy, but Left Eye was nuts, right? I know you guys love her, but she was turbulent.
You know what, though? That's what I loved about her, because she didn't care. She lived her life the way she wanted to. So, I mean, if Andre didn't have a reason to be mad, like, he went back with her. If he wasn't tripping, I wasn't going to trip. He took her back after she burnt down his house. So if he's not complaining, I'm not going to complain.
Fair enough, but she burned down his house. Like, what the hell happened? Why is she burning down houses?
Well, the first time this wasn't the first fire. The first time she burnt up some stuffed animals in the bathtub, and when they replaced the tub, they put a plexiglass one in. So when she came home and she saw there wasn't no 4.5 size sneakers, and he had bought about almost 100 for himself, she put them all in the bathtub and lit them. But the bathroom ignited and just was set on fire so fast, and it just spread throughout the house, and it was on. Stop it, y'all.
What do you mean, stop it?
It's just amazing.
Oh, my God.
Let's get started, I think.
What did Andre do? Andre was a dog. Like, I mean, what the hell?
No, but Andre really helped us out, though, because even after that, when we filed for bankruptcy, he's the one. We were so broke we couldn't even afford to go broke. So he gave us $15,000 apiece to file for bankruptcy.
Well, how did that happen? Explain to us again. The new book, A Sick Life, available now. T-Boz from TLC with us on ESPN Radio. How did all of that happen? How did you go from one place to the other like that, from the heights to the depths?
Well, the height was only hype. It was like, had nothing to do with the money. It was based on the look of TLC and, you know, our image and all that gave us recognition. But that doesn't mean our pockets were full. The way we were assigned, we're at the bottom of the totem pole, and by the time it got to us, there was pennies. So it was like we were never balling until we got out of those contracts.
Wow. So I would have guessed, that you guys were making a ton of money. Was there bitterness about that? While it was happening, was there bitterness about it? Obviously.
Yeah, it was a problem because you're on top of the world. You're number one and the biggest girl selling group of all time, and your lights are getting cut off. Yeah, that's a problem. And assistants at the record company were driving better cars than you were. That's a problem.
So who betrayed you? Like, have you identified people, or was it just the industry?
It's all of them combined. It's just the way the industry is. Put it like this. If I owe you $20 and I gave you $10 and you signed the contract and said that was cool, we know moralistically it's not right, but if you went for it, that's deemed as fair in the music industry. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I sure do.
New book, A Sick Life, available now. T-Boz with us. You're surprised to even be with us here right now, yes?
No, I'm not surprised. When I was told that, I never believed it because of what my mother said. So when I was 7, I was misdiagnosed, and the doctor was like, basically, you'll never have kids. You won't live past 30 years old, and you'll be disabled your whole life. And my mom looked at me and said, God has the last say-so in your life. That's not your story. And she was like, I'll talk to you in the car. And so I believe my mom because doctors practice medicine. And she was like, that's not, because I looked at her like, I said I wanted to be on TV, like that's not. And usually doctors pull the parent to the side. They don't say such a thing in front of children. Like, who says that to a 7-year-old? Like, that's harsh because he could have ruined my life in the way I thought about life. And I may have, willed myself to die if that's the case. Who knows?
T-Boz with us here on ESPN Radio. You toured with MC Hammer. You worked with Michael Jackson. What's the most fun you've had in a music experience?
One of the things that was awesome, we were headlining our tour Fan Mill, and I'm a big Michael Jackson and Prince fan, so I heard Prince was going to be there, and so I'm performing, and then I hear this twang of this guitar, and I'm like, that is not my band, and I'm such a fan. Before I turn around, I was like, oh my God, if Prince is on stage, I'm going to pass out twice. So in my head, I was like, forget Left Eye and Chili, Prince is on stage with me, so I was so excited. I forgot the words to the song. I almost fell off the stage. I was like, oh, my God, Prince is playing on my song. So as a child, growing up loving and admiring someone, and then to know that you're their favorite group and they're on stage playing your music, I was, like, in awe. I was so excited, and I forgot. Like, I was supposed to be a celebrity, and this was my show. And I was like, oh, yeah, let me snap it back together and be T-Boz right now. I went to, like, a childlike mode. Like, I went back to my childhood. Like, I love Prince,
Were you able to have much in the way of interaction with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He always called and checked on me. Like, we had a cool relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just wondering, when you admire someone that much, and he's a sex symbol, like Oh
no, honey, none of that. I didn't look at him like that.
Okay. No,
Right.
I mean,
It's a fair question.
everyone
Yeah,
else
it's a fair
did.
question.
Everyone else was looking at him like that. You're the one that wasn't.
I'm not like that. No, he was like a brother. And Michael Jackson, I adore him, but I didn't like him sexually. Like, ew, no. Like,
Okay, sorry.
nah.
Sorry, my bad.
No, but Dan is right. I mean, that's the way I looked at him.
T-Boz
You
with
are
us.
hilarious.
Well, I mean,
A Sick
Prince.
Life is available now. T-Boz with us on ESPN Radio. I'm curious, as you look back on all of your music, is there a song that was really popular that you made that you didn't like or you thought was going to be bad?
We had a song that we performed called Shout, and I hated to perform that song every night. So on a certain part, I would leave the stage and leave Chili and Lisa up there, and then I would come back and sing the lead again. But I was refusing to salsa dance and all that stuff to this song. I was like, this song is whack. I don't like it. So I hated performing it on the fan mail tour. So all the fans would laugh because I would leave on the same part every time.
What would you go back and do over? I give you one do-over. What do you go back and do over?
I don't know if I do do-overs. You know why? Because everything happens for a reason. So if I had a do-over, maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. A do-over? Oh, okay, for hypothetically do-overs. Okay, here we go. I would have dated different types of men. How about that?
Okay, go
right.
on.
Yep.
Go on. Like Prince? No, sorry, go on.
Now here you go. Now you want me to go in detail. Because I made a mistake of choosing men based on looking for love, like a protective vibe type love, instead of like, will he come home, not cheat, what kind of kids will he raise if we have some, stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of thing you should have been thinking about. But I'm like, will he protect me, just because my dad didn't. So I should have been thinking deeper about men than how I did at first when I was younger.
Thank you for the honesty and the insight, and for the book. Thank you. New book, A Sick Life. It is available now. We appreciate your time. Thank you for tolerating us.
Oh, no, thank you for letting me do this. I appreciate it.
Talk again tomorrow?
Go ahead, call me, honey. I'm open on whenever.
Yeah.
All right. We'll call you tomorrow then.
All right.
I had coffee with my colleague half an hour ago.
I thought I did that. Now, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to? You just put me in the spot where you put me in the spot.
I love T-Boz, man.
You
I thought she
put
was
me
great.
in the spot where I had to have said on air, no, I don't want to do that.
Right. Sorry about that.
If you're
You didn't enjoy T-Boz, though?
I did enjoy T-Boz, but that's the highest honor, and I'm out of question.
Going to be awkward for you, man. I don't know how you explain that one to her.
Batard. Game day bucket go boom! Stugotz.
I do like that idea, Goldie. Greedy. I like the idea. I have a friend named Goldie. I called you Goldie.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I would like to talk about other things over the course of the rest of the show. We will have fun and talk about lighter things. We got funniest thing from the sports weekend to get to. We've got Stugotz's weekend observations. Guillermo is working on a useless sound montage. We've got an epic sound of the day to give you, but for the moment, I'm going to do the serious stuff because you guys keep writing in, arguing about Jemele Hill of ESPN. She called the President of the United States a white supremacist on Twitter. ESPN sent out a statement saying that does not reflect the views of the company, and she has been talked to about that being inappropriate. And here's the divide. This is where we are with the divide. ESPN did the wrong thing, period, because there is no right thing to do here. ESPN is going to lose all of these fights because by talking to Jemele Hill and not punishing her, she's got a whole lot of white people who are pointing to other different examples and saying, well, Kurt Schilling's not here or Colin Cowherd's not here. Why is she allowed to say that and white people can't? And what I would say to you is, if you think that way, and even if that's so, let's say it's so in 2017, let's make it a fact. It is so. Black people can say things that white people can't. Welcome, white people, to what it's felt like for a long time to be black when it comes to injustice. And you're going to have to eat this injustice for now. and it pales compared to mass incarceration, housing discrimination, slavery, all of the things we've done to black people. So this is the injustice and the double standard that you will have to live with if we accept that as fact, that Jemele Hill can say something that Colin Cowherd and Kurt Schilling can't. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't say to you that those are apples to apples comparisons. But if I'm starting the hypothesis with that one is fact, what I am telling you is you're going to have to eat that fact. And on the scoreboard, black people are still losing.
By a lot.
By a lot.
Yeah.
On the injustice front. But look at how white people complain when they're at the end of the injustice. And all black people are telling you is like, hey, that's what it feels like. That's it. So let's move on into other subjects about different things.
For good?
For the show, for today.
All right.
For today. And let's just do an epic sound of the day because we're going to go now, transition right now from the serious stuff to the lighter stuff. What do we have here on Epic Sound of the Day?
Time now for Guillermo's epic sound of the day. It is going to be epic.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Guillermo.
Hey, Bill.
Hell of an intro for me, Dan. You guys know Jim Carrey?
Love Jim Carrey.
Enough of Jim Carrey.
What?
I'm tired of Jim Carrey.
For the love of God.
Got a little something for Jim Carrey later on.
Okay, great.
Well, E! News caught up with Jim Carrey at New York Fashion Week, and they were expecting just, like a lighthearted interview, fun with Jim Carrey, and then things kind of went in a different direction.
I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're celebrating.
You got to admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons.
in
Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! You shut it down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself, and I don't care.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's happening in our world right now? Because there is a lot of news that actually is relevant that's not that
Here's
uplifting.
the thing. It's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
He's got to be hard to live with.
Just confusing, confounding, puzzling. Your mind is spinning.
We could have left it at what I said.
Sound of the Day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade to shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today. Dizzying, confusing, head is just spinning around trying to figure out what it is that he just said. You have no idea. He walks out the door to go to work, and you're wondering what the hell just happened. Yeah.
Batard.
Harden got selfish and decided he wanted to go to Houston and be the guy, and I told you when he went there he's never going to win a championship. He was more concerned, James Harden, about being the best player on a decent team than he was on being the third best player on a legendary team.
Stugotz.
Hey, James Harden. And the beard's enough already. Who is he with a beard? Hey, he's trying to be different. I get James Harden. The beard. It's seriously the beard. When I think of James Harden, I won't think of anything other. I won't think of championships. I won't think of winning. I won't think of one of the all-time greats. I'll only think of his ridiculous beard. It's Harden. Him and his beard should be ashamed of themselves.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A lot of bad listeners in our audience. Texture writes in, because bringing up slavery really solves problems in 2017. You're a fool. Well, you took slavery because it was the old one, and you discarded the two others or the three others I mentioned in redlining and housing discrimination and mass incarceration, which are not problems from the past. They're problems for now. But that was convenient the way that you did that. Stugotz's weekend observations are longer than usual because it's been a week. We have a skeletal show today. We can't watch LeVar Ball on First Take because we don't have power in all the right places here. But Stugotz has a weekend of observations. He has grown fat with observations. So here on a Wednesday are Stugotz's weekend observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend Observations is brought to you by Select Quote. Free, personalized quotes in just 10 minutes. Call 1-800-533-4499 or go to selectquote.com. Dan, after months of speculation, we finally found out that indeed the Raiders are for real. Maybe. Antonio Cromartie, they could cut it off, and somehow you'd still figure out a way to get someone pregnant. My personal Hurricane Irma experience. 2 scared kids, 1 terrified dog, a nagging wife, lost power, lost a couple of trees, gained 15 pounds. Kareem Hunt, NFL Rookie of the Year, collision course. Never thought I'd see the day where Alex Smith would throw 4 touchdowns in a single game, and not one of them would be caught by Travis Kelce. Tom Brady, done. Patriots, finished. AFC East, wide open. What happened there? Tom Brady is done. Listen, you said it 7 years ago, and since then he's put together a second Hall of Fame career. All right, and I'm telling you, you were off on that one. Now is the time to say it.
Okay.
You want to say it?
Well, you know, when I started saying it was after they lost a game big against the Chiefs in the home opener. That's when I started saying, here comes the drop-off, and he's won 7 titles since then.
The last 3 times they've started 0-1. They've won the Super Bowl. But I'm telling you, this time, Brady, done. Patriots, finished. AFC East,
wide open.
If you don't beat the Jets by at least 10 points, it shouldn't count as a win. Buffalo, you are 0-1. To the people in my neighborhood, let me be very clear. Walking my dog is not a social event. Walk your dog one way, I'll walk mine the other way. Not going to name names, but it might be a European guy with a weird mustache who is always staring down at his phone. Sir, watch where you're going, because you're walking your dog, and you're walking your dog right into my dog, and my dog has no interest in your dog, and I have no interest in you. How's that sound? I'll see you later this afternoon. Apparently, Lamar Jackson is extending his lease at the Heisman House. Most quarterbacks' job is to win the game. Blake Bortles is different. His job is to not lose the game. He did his job. You know what Jacksonville has? A championship defense. Tariq Cohen can scoot. Shalom. You know what the Falcons did? Survived. Mike Glennon. In my personal record book, you threw 2 game-winning touchdowns. Week 1 of the NFL. Boring. Remember a while back, I said the Dodgers were the best team in Major League Baseball history? I was wrong. The Indians are. The Tribe. The Cleveland Windians. Baker Mayfield. What the hell are you sorry about? J.J. Watt, you've been a pillar to your community. A beacon. Incredible human being. You deserve all the credit in the world. Your brother is better. And I know, deep down inside, that drives you crazy. If I were trying the case against the NFL to prove if they were blackballing Colin Kaepernick, the only thing I would hold up is a Scott Tolzien bobblehead. Matthew Stafford, 1-0.
That would be like the whole trial.
Yes.
Like if we had a trial for collusion, you would be the lawyer, and you just come out and just put Tolzien's bobblehead on the judge's next to the gavel and just hit it and then walk off.
Case closed.
All right.
Yep. I'd win, right?
Yeah, guilty.
Matthew Stafford, 1-0. Dan Batard,
no.
0-1.
No, that's because Carson Palmer's washed.
No, you can't do that. Dan seems to struggle when it comes to the Lions. Jared, not Goffel. Carson's first game of his sophomore season went better than expected. Tennessee Titans, let me know when you want me to take you seriously. Tony Romo, stop showing off. In the fourth quarter, I was waiting for Tony Romo to cough up some food. Tony Romo might actually make it to Canton as a broadcaster. Seems like Dalvin is cooking up a Hall of Fame career. Sam Bradford, do it again. And when you're done doing it again, do it again. Phillip Rivers always looks like he just snorted a line of cocaine. Whatever. Does.
I mean, that's just truth right there. He always looks like that.
Yeah, he does. Bill O'Brien, geez, quick hook. Bill, you had all off season, and your plan was to give Tom Savage 13 throws to figure out if he's your quarterback. Alex Smith, MVP, collision course. You know what the Chiefs have? Weapons. Look like I was a year off, or looks like I was a year off, on my Jacksonville Jaguars Super Bowl prediction. Well, we now know the definition of a red rifle. It's a rifle that shoots bullets the wrong way. Kobe Bryant will retire both Kobe jerseys, number 8 and number 24. Not only was he a ball hog, he's a retired jersey hog. They should also retire the number 3 for the amount of titles Shaq won him. 2, for the amount of times he lost in the finals. 1, for the amount of times he passed the ball. Hey, Chuck Pagano, next week you're playing the Arizona Cardinals. To all the people saying Jim Harbaugh to the Colts, get in line, I had that take over a year ago. The title of the definitive book on Phillip Rivers. Down 3, 2 minutes, length of the field to go.
3rd and 19, no timeout.
Death, taxes, and Phillip Rivers on the wrong end of a one-score game late in the fourth quarter. Sean Payton, overrated. We're about 4 Iowa wins away from some dope telling us how good an NFL coach Kirk Ferentz would be. I'm tired of hearing that take. If he was good enough, someone would have hired him already. St. Louis sports radio station that hired a host who admitted on air that he knows nothing about sports. The Stugotz is strong in you. LeBron James was spotted touring a private school in L.A. Remind me to sit at the table if I ever see LeBron playing poker. Jim Carrey, I've seen your recent interview. How about you stop being Jim Carrey and start being Ace Ventura? Alrighty then. Hey, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? It's Jim Carrey giving an interview. KD's new sneaker should be called the Shortcut. When you put them on, they automatically take you to the easiest path. Worst part about Irma was losing my AC during the South Florida summer. It was hotter than hell. Our Bryles would have been right at home.
All right.
Dan, those are the weekend observations. Let a breath.
Payday! Payday! It is payday!
I didn't know that LeBron was touring private schools in L.A. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. I mean, how is that not us reporting for fact that LeBron's going to be a Laker next year? Like, why the hell would LeBron be touring private schools for kids? You think he does? You think that's what LeBron's doing with his free time?
Nope.
All right, it's done. Report it. Somebody go. Woj, go report it.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
LeBron's going to the Lakers.
All right, there it is. Or the Clippers. One of them.
LeBron's going to L.A.
Right. That's it.
Dan Batard.
The Dolphins drafted Tunsil, played him at guard, let go of Brandon Albert, who was bought to replace Chris Long, who was taken with the number one. Up. Damn it.
Jake Long.
Damn it.
It's all right, man.
Cost me $1.
Stugotz.
That's pretty egregious. I don't know. Should have just
It's his brother. Well, how is that egregious?
That's super egregious because they are not related.
Wow. That's a $5 fine right there.
Okay.
Right out of the gates.
Chris Long?
You confused Chris Long
and
with
Howie,
the offensive lineman from Chicago. That's actually his brother.
So the correction made it worse. I should have just shut up.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
It is amazing to me that after all of these years doing this show with Stugotz, with all of the samples that he has over 14 years, that Stugotz is still the guy who sees something on week one and says, that is going to endure, and the Jacksonville Jags are going to surprise some people, taking no inventory of Houston's quarterback situation is so bad that they're yanking their quarterback immediately and taking no inventory of the fact that Blake Bortles might be the single most incompetent thing to ever play that many games after being drafted first in the history of the league.
But that defense and the fact that they lost their wide receiver, by the way, Allen Robinson for the entire year, but that defense is really good.
The defense is, and it was good last year, and the quarterback is still Blake Bortles. Yes, the defense is really good. They added Calais Campbell, the friendly giant, and the Ramsey kid's a star. He's a star. He's a star cornerback. If he played anywhere else, you'd know about him. That kid is as good as anyone I've ever seen play at FSU, not named Deion Sanders.
And Fournette was really good. He was really good. They got a good running game.
But
Dan, like if Bortles just doesn't turn the ball over, and they got Fournette
there you go. And there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he did it for a game.
No, but if Blake Bortles doesn't turn the ball over is not a sentence that can coexist with all the words peacefully. Those things conflict. They get into a fight. All of the words in that sentence.
After week one, he has Jags Super Bowl, Alex Smith MVP, and Tom Brady finished.
But how can that be? How is it possible that after all of this that we've been doing for this long, that Stugotz is still the knee-jerker on week one things?
You think I'm going to change now, man? Come on.
You see, the Patriots are knee-jerking too, though. They had their synthetic turf for one game. It was the turf's fault.
Yep.
Yanked it out.
That sport is so weird, man. I mean, weren't people talking about the Patriots going undefeated this year because they'd added pieces to their defense? And then after week one, it's like, oh, you shouldn't have let go of Chandler Jones and Jamie Collins. You see? And it's like, what are we doing?
They won the Super Bowl.
What are we doing?
The record without Edelman is kind of bad, considering when you compare it to what they've done with him.
They scored 27 points. How many teams in the league did that this week? They scored 27 points. The Patriots are dead. They're broken. I mean, look, man, I don't know how they made Alex Smith look like that. I don't understand the sport well enough. But evidently, neither does Belichick. Because I simply, you realize that I'm doing the analysis right now, and what I'm doing the analysis of is what's just happened in front of me. Dan, an octopus alien from the sky, has just landed on the field. Explain to me what happened there. I don't know. And another alien popped out of its stomach and just started shooting people. What happened there? I don't know. It's not what I was expecting. I don't understand what I just saw.
It was 27-21 Patriots headed into the fourth quarter. Finished.
The Patriots done, and Tom Brady's finished.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Stugotz here for Upside. Like I've been telling you for a while now, if you travel for business, stop wasting time pricing your flights and hotels at the same old sites you used to go to. The only site you need is Upside.com. It's quick and easy for Upside to show you the exact flights you're looking for and the big-name hotels you want to stay at. You can buy them separately or bundle them together. That's what I do. You can even add a ride. And by bundling 2 or more selections, you'll experience the real magic of using Upside. See, the more you bundle, the more you save. The bigger the gift card you receive to places like Amazon.com every time you buy a business travel package using Upside. And their expert navigators are always available 24/7 through phone, chat, social, and email to help anytime before, during, and after your business trip to make sure it goes smoothly. Upside's the real deal for buying your business trips. You got to give them a try. And right now, when you use promo code Dan, you are guaranteed to get at least a $100 Amazon.com gift card on your package purchase. That's code Dan to get a $100 gift card free. Upside.com, the better way to buy business travel. Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
A Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. These are tough pens that combine style, strength, and value. So, as you battle your way through the day, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
Batard.
This time in refereeing, we're going to laugh at it in 40 years. Wait a minute. What? Andy Reid reached into his sock and pulled out a handkerchief with stains on it, and that's how he challenged stuff?
Stugotz.
How has tennis figured this out and nobody else can figure it out? Why are you guys clapping back there? You guys are doing...
Well, that's what you do when you're awaiting a tennis challenge. You clap.
Here comes the foot. Yeah.
Here comes the foot.
Great call. Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
She's got a new book, Unstoppable, My Life So Far. It is available now. Maria Sharapova with us on ESPN Radio. And before we get started, Maria, and thank you for making the time for us, what is the question that you are tired of being asked on this book tour? I want to make sure that I do not ask that question. So what's the question you're done with right now?
I think if I had to name all those questions, we'd be here forever. So let's
oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to try.
I know.
All right. So you're
they've been very repetitive so far, but I know you're original. So,
right. But if we ask one of those,
change the plot over here.
All right. But if we ask one of the ones that you've been asked several times, will you call us out on it? Like tell us to move on, shuffle on, give us some sort of signal.
I think let's do it that way.
I mean, I am a straight shooter.
All right, let's do it that way. If we ask a question, this is a real challenge right now. If we ask a question that's already been asked, you just make some sort of sound or whatever. Say whatever you want to push us off of it.
She should grunt. Can you do that?
Okay.
Grunt.
Grunt?
You're a legendary grunter. Yes, just grunt.
She's got to be swinging a racket in order to grunt. She's not going to just.
That's right. I can't just do that like that.
Yeah, she's not going to. Yeah, she's not going to do that. All right. So the book is Unstoppable. My Life So Far. Is there anything in the book that it was really hard for you to write about?
Oh, I can answer. I haven't been asked that. Okay. The hardest part was writing about the suspension. It took me a while to be able to share it and put it on paper. And I think just because I was going through the experiences and it was really painful to want to relive that in my own mind with a pen and paper. But once I did, I think it came from a very open and honest point of view, and I'm very happy that I was able to share it and make it part of my book.
What caused you the most shame from within that?
I think because just reliving it, being in the moment, there's so many uncertainties. And I signed the book deal way before that happened. So going through the process of writing it was incredible. And obviously the beginning and the end of the book changed along the process of writing this. But I included every part of my journey so far, and I thought that was important to share it.
The book is Unstoppable, My Life So Far. At the height of wherever it is or the depths of the scandal, Maria, what did your life look like? How alone were you? How supported were you? Who did you feel left your side, and who do you feel stayed with you?
Incredibly supported. Family, friends, even the sponsors. I mean, deep down, I think they all knew me. Of course, everyone sees me playing tennis and competing and sees you on a TV screen and sees a photo of you in a magazine. But ultimately, we're all people with feelings, and from a human level, it was just it was something that was very challenging to go through. And I was able to share those tough moments with the people that have been with me for a long time in my career.
When's the last time that you met somebody and you were awed by them knowing who you were in a way that left you kind of stammering and speechless?
Oh, wow. Every day. It seems like I think that when people come up to me now, it seems like it really comes from a genuine place, and they come to me to have a conversation. The amount of athletes that have really supported me from just like not in tennis, but in other areas has been really, really incredible. Like to the point where like, I'm not going to call them out, but I was like, I didn't know they knew that I even existed. Because, I feel like sometimes in my own little bubble, I feel like you do your job, you go home, and you really, you work hard at staying humble because that's how you get your drive.
Maria, how many majors do you have if Serena Williams doesn't exist? Simply doesn't exist.
Right. Like the Nancy have you ever thought about the Nancy Kerrigan situation? Like, have you ever considered? No? Okay,
What? I'm not someone that thinks of what ifs. Like, what if doesn't matter, right? Like, it's like a conspiracy theory.
Okay, so you can't answer that question, right? That at least you haven't been asked it before, though, right? Like, you haven't.
A lot more. No, I definitely haven't. That is a great question. Props.
How about Venus? That is if Venus simply didn't
exist. Did you hear what you just said? That is a great question. Props to you. Again, the new book, Unstoppable, My Life So Far, is available now. What would you say in your upbringing, if this is an autobiography, what would you say in your upbringing is most responsible for shaping you?
A lot of things coming together. I don't think there's one thing that really identified the journey, but as a young girl, I picked up a racket at 4 years old. We were living in Russia, and my parents were very young, but living in a normal environment with enough money to get by. But then arriving in the United States with this tennis dream at only 6.5 years old, $700 in your pocket, you become very limited to your options. And so that journey of like finding the right academy, finding a scholarship where I could train, finding jobs for my father, not seeing my mom for 2 years because of visa issues. I think all those things, as I look back and as I was writing this memoir, really shapes you. And another reason for the title, because there's so many roadblocks along the way and so many steps I could have taken that would have gotten me in the wrong direction. And I was fortunate to have taken the right one.
Give us the biggest one. What was the biggest obstacle?
I think moving to the United States opened up a lot of doors as a young kid because tennis was not popular at all, and I think a lot of credit has to go to Martina Navratilova, who spotted me at 5 years old at a clinic in Moscow. And now when I see 5-year-olds, I'm not really sure I can really spot a talent. Like, you just don't know. I mean, they play for fun, and that's just the way it is. And she was able to come to my father and say, "Your girl has potential, and you have to do something about it."
I'm wondering what the transition was like for you. What do you remember about the details of the transition, the culture shock?
A lot. I remember a lot because, one, I didn't speak the language, and neither did my father in the beginning. Culturally, it was like arriving. I mean, I was born in Siberia, and we moved to the south, which was much warmer when I was 2, but coming to Florida and just seeing all the palm trees and the humidity and then Disneyland, I was like, what is this? Where am I? The shopping malls. And just the behavior. People are much more outgoing. They're a lot more stiff back home. They were a lot more stiff back home. So there are definitely elements of a culture shock.
How early was it that people started coming to you with sponsorships and life-altering opportunities?
Majority of it came after I won Wimbledon at 17.
So how did your life, immediately change right then?
I would say it was a huge transition. Absolutely. From external factors and things that you can't ever prepare yourself for. You can only you can dream of becoming a champion and winning a title and holding the trophy and doing a press conference after with the trophy right next to you, but you're never sure what comes with it. You never know the opportunities. You don't know who's going to go after you. The players no longer play for only beating that opponent, but they're beating you to win that match, and it kind of it can change their year around. So it seemed like overnight there was a lot more at stake when they would play me.
But what changed the most? Can you share that with us? What changed the most after you won that title?
Outside of tennis.
Yeah, I think that I felt like everybody wanted to have what I got and everything else away from the court. Like that immediately, and from my point of view, I was still a young girl, so that was difficult for me to understand, and this form of envy for not only being a tennis player, but working with a brand or being successful off the court or earning money. In the beginning, that didn't really resonate to me because I only wanted to win.
I would have thought that you would have been somewhat used to that, a different form of that envy, just because you've always been the pretty girl, no?
I was actually, I was always the awkward one. Like, I never had the prettiest outfits. My bangs were always, like, cut in a weird shape. I was very skinny. I mean, my knees were, like, bigger than the rest of my body. It was just I grew very fast. I never considered myself to be pretty at all.
So when did that change?
Definitely as I got older, I don't know. I think the more time I spent on the court and the more time people were taking pictures of me and noticing me, the more photographers I saw on the sidelines, I just realized that there's something else there.
Do you think that you have all of those sponsorships? Do you think that you get them all if you look different than the way you look?
I would hope so. I think the reason why I did get them was because I became a Grand Slam champion at a young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would hope so. But you understand?
I will say, yeah, no, I do. I think there's a lot that comes with it, and it's not just the looks. It's not just what you do, your success on the court. There are a lot of elements that go into a brand partnership and the reason why people pay you that much money in order to represent a brand. And that includes professionalism, that includes showing up on time, doing your job. I mean, those are like the intangibles that are not written in a contract, and those are important.
Maria, wait a second. Are you saying at one point, or are you still? Are you clumsy?
When? Like now?
When you were growing
she was
up,
younger,
now,
she
yes.
was clumsy.
Yeah,
younger, not clumsy anymore.
I'm always clumsy.
Are you?
You're still clumsy, right? Except for that whole professional
I'm
athlete
still clumsy.
thing. Okay. New book, Unstoppable, My Life So Far. It is available now. I don't know whether we succeeded in asking you only questions that you haven't gotten before, but
You did extremely well.
Well, what is the question about Serena that I could ask you that you have not been asked before? Because I'm flummoxed here. I'm at a dead end.
Good luck with that.
Okay, I lose. Okay, there is
you
no...
already asked me a Serena question.
I did. You're right.
Thank you for being on with us.
Well, I have one final question for you.
Thank you for having me.
I have one question for you,
go
Maria.
ahead.
Proud or ashamed that you have the loudest grunt ever measured in the history of tennis?
Oh, I own it.
Nice.
Okay, she's proud of it. Thank you, Maria. We appreciate having you on.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Let's go. My private jet isn't going to fuel itself.
She may have been asked the Serena question before, but not quite that way. How many majors would you have if Serena didn't exist? And then me suggesting a Nancy Kerrigan scenario. And there's no way she's been asked that way. We own that.
Did you ask her if she ever entertained that? Was that what you
kind of? Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a dark thought. Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Levitard Show. Has Maria Sharapova ever considered the idea of a minor injury to Serena Williams that doesn't allow her to play anymore against Maria Sharapova? If you've enjoyed, she's had to have considered it. I'm not saying like a thought is not an action.
I think she wished it upon Serena, but not something that she would actually hire someone to do.
No, I think she thought of hiring someone. Like looked up numbers on the internet and then said, no, this is a bad idea.
Batard.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Awful.
Stugotz.
I mean,
no, he's an embarrassment, man. He's bad. He's not a good player. I don't know what happened to him because when he was in Portland, he was fantastic. He is not good, Dan. He cost them the game last night. Although they won the game. But had they lost, I'm telling you, it would have been on LaMarcus Aldridge. And the only reason it's not is because they won the game. And I'm still going to crush them even though they won.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami-only hour that airs before the show. And now you can subscribe to our Best of podcast. It's all available in the Listen tab of the ESPN app. Did you know that you can take the NFL with you wherever you go thanks to the TuneIn app? No matter where you live or what team you love, TuneIn brings you the home and away call for every game live. It's actually very cool. Listen to it all the time. Download the TuneIn app today and listen live to your favorite teams.
That might be my favorite rejoin. And if I had to explain the chemistry that Stugotz and I have in just a couple of syllables to somebody, this is what I would show them. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Awful.
It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh every time I hear it, me being in the middle of a thought and him just going to wherever it is the extreme on that thought was. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Awful.
Every time it makes me laugh. So this also makes me laugh. Guillermo, ladies and gentlemen, is back for another NFL season. One of the most popular segments we do, and it's a real hellhole for him, is the useless sound montage. Poor Guillermo does not welcome the return of football because he's just got to go into this cave and just go get a bunch of sewage sound. And so how are you doing, Guillermo?
I thought Irma saved me. She did not.
Okay, so you thought you were going to get out of week one. How do you feel about this compilation of useless sound from week one of the NFL season?
It's okay.
Okay, just okay. Is Chuck Pagano a star in it again? Or I got to find out.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, I got to wait to find out.
I think Brockweiler, as Dan likes to call him, makes a strong run here.
All right, let's see what we've got here. This is, week one, the useless sound montage.
We got our kicked, and credit 49ers and Coach McVay.
We got some work to do, but it's great to do that work with the win in your back pocket.
He loves to play football. He's physically tough. He's mentally tough.
My hat's off to those guys on defense. They battled. They hung in there.
Hats off to him. Hats off to our offensive line.
Tip your hat to Dallas.
There's not one guy in that locker room that will slide that down that pole. I'm not going to slide that down that pole. Our assistant coaches aren't going to do it.
You know, you're a little kid and your mom, you know, she tells you don't touch the hot stove. So what do you have to do as a curious kid? You got to go touch the hot stove, and you learn real quick, you know, how nice that stove is when it's not hot.
Our kicking game was sound other than the missed field goal.
It's called a team sport, and I'll be here for this team. I'm not that type of person that lives his life in regret, and then I also don't look in the rearview mirror. I'm always looking forward.
I'm not going to make any excuses. We're not going to make any excuses as a football team that, you know, we don't have this, we don't have that, we're missing this guy, we're missing that guy. That's a bunch of bull crap.
We got to be better with our hands and eyes and feet relative to our positions. So we'll get back in the lab and work hard in those areas.
I felt like I lived a lifetime in my head when the ball's in the air. I'm not even kidding. I think I blacked out.
He's competitive, man, so he's going to come out here and compete.
Obviously not the start we were looking for.
It's hard to really describe it in words, but being back here today, practicing as a Bronco, being here at Dove Valley, it's probably a top 5, if not 3 day of my life.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good day. Got to do a better job, you know, coaching. Got to figure it out. You know, it was a bad day.
We got a kick, period.
Tomlin, man.
I mean, Pagano is just a first ballot Hall of Famer, useless sound. He comes out of the box this season roaring.
I'm going to miss him so much.
Oh, so much. They cannot fire him. They cannot fire him.
They're going to fire him, though.
I keep refreshing.
They have to. They must. But they can't.
I keep refreshing Andrew Luck injury news, hoping this is the week he comes back. We got to save Pagano.
If they fire him, can we hire him just to come on
just
Mondays?
To sit around and
be the new voice of our show?
I mean,
Frank,
just so useless. So, like, again, let us review what has happened to their start of their season as he tries to save his job. They completely botched the whole thing with their quarterback. And then they traded for Jacoby Brissett, and he's the savior because we all saw what the Tolzien experience was. We're going to miss you so much, Chuck.
They lost 46-9 to the Rams.
To the Rams, yeah.
Well, to the Rams. He seems a little confused about that.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. And wait, do they play the Chargers? Because he's going to botch that one.
Always have a great time here in San Diego.
He's going to be in the wrong city. The worst and the best. The worst and the best.
Love the Acme Packers.
Yeah, I love that when the coach is drowning. When the coach is drowning, the dumb stuff gets magnified, right? Because Belichick, if he had done that, he just made a mistake. But Pagano becomes a referendum on this is why Andrew Luck is hurt.
Belichick.
Because this guy doesn't even know what team he's playing against.
You're right. Belichick, it would be he's so focused on his own team that he forgets who he's playing.
Heaven help Mike Tomlin if he starts losing.
Right.
Yeah, because it's going to sound like gibberish.
You really think that was a top 5 or top 3 day for Osweiler?
I mean, Osweiler's so philosophical about practicing for the Broncos.
I'm guessing when he was drafted by the Broncos, that was a top 3 day. I'm guessing when the Texans signed him, that was a top 3 day.
Winning and losing is such a funny thing, though, man, in terms of how it is that it's received. Because if Bill Belichick said we got our bleeps kicked by the 49ers and it was the wrong team, we wouldn't make it an indictment of anything. But it's like the difference between the Ray Lewis gibberish in the locker room, the stuff he's saying on television now.
Batard.
Dice Clay was the biggest comedian in America at one point, selling out arenas. And he is god-awful.
Stugotz.
Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah, that's right. What's in the bowl?
Funny.
You remember the smoking of the cigarette?
Oh, yeah, behind his
smoking of the cigarette.
Little Miss Muffet, cigarette behind my head. Yeah. It doesn't age well.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Going to get to the funniest thing from the sports weekend in a second, even though it's Wednesday. It is our Monday because of Hurricane Irma. We weren't around here the last couple of days. Everyone is accounted for. Thank you for your concerns and your well wishes.
We don't know where Allison is. Didn't stop us from coming in, though.
No.
So somebody writes in, do you guys think that Jay Glazer looks like the guy standing on his tiptoes trying to get a better view of a bar fight?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not good enough, though? You don't, because I think Jay Glazer really looks like that. Now, I want to ask you this, though, too, because we've got some more here.
I think he looks like a guy who would be in a bar fight.
More than a guy trying to...
I think we're doing confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Does Mike Shanahan look like the sheriff in a slasher film who warns pesky teens to stay away from the cursed campsite to no avail?
Yes,
that's very
absolutely
good.
Does. He looks more like that than a football coach.
Is anyone else bothered as much as I am by how conservative these NFL teams are, that Alex Smith and Sam Bradford doing what they did in those games, even though they too were being cautious, is viewed as an enormous aberration and a source of celebration? Are you getting mad watching football? Because I was watching that game on Monday, the early game, the Minnesota game, and even though Minnesota had a lot of big plays, I was getting really frustrated with how much Sam Bradford wants to throw the ball 2 yards.
I guess I understand what you're saying, but in that it's a weird place for you to get frustrated when you're watching the game in which he didn't do that. He was throwing the ball all over the field.
I know.
Yeah.
That's not the game that he does it at maximum Sam Bradford, but the way that he broke the completion percentage record last year is by playing that way all season.
Right.
All season,
yes.
Where he would just throw the ball a yard or two and was always looking on the checkdowns. But I'm wondering at what point you guys get frustrated enough with that aesthetic, because they can't care about it. They've got to play around their limits to try and win the game, however it is that they win the game. But do you understand that when the Vikings play that way, what they also do is they take Drew Brees away from you. You can't even enjoy the other side of offensive football when the Vikings do within their limits the things that they do best, which is ball control and bore you to death.
Right. I mean, I guess yes, it bothers me to answer your question, but if it's my team doing it and they're doing it and it's winning, then I'm okay with it.
Right.
But yes, overall it bothers me.
Well, Daniel Cormier, boring fighter, but wins almost every time. And it's not their job to entertain us. It's their job to win. But I'm telling you that as someone who doesn't have a rooting interest in Kansas City versus the Patriots, if I'm watching the game, I don't want to watch one quarterback have success at a conservative style that then ends up taking the ball away from the other quarterback as well.
Now, he was conservative last year, Alex Smith was, and they were 12-4. So to my point, Chief fans, I'm certain that they love that season. But you're right, it's boring. The Alex Smith I saw week 1 of the NFL season, that was fun. Mm-hmm. But he has playmakers, Dan.
Right.
Wasn't like he was throwing it all over the place. Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt were making plays for him.
I do miss a time in football. This is not that long ago, mid-'90s, where even the bad teams were fun to watch because their quarterback would throw it long. The Bengals were terrible. Jeff Blake, fun.
The ratings are down already week 1, and they've been down for a couple straight seasons, and a lot of it was blamed on the election. I'm wondering if there's a corrosive effect, because I know it's happening with me, Stugotz, where the Monday night game, it was by itself, right? Because I need a bombardment of stimuli. You got me 1-7 on Sunday. You got me. I'm going to watch. But when you put a game alone like that one on, and I see Sam Bradford, what I see in the first quarter is it's 3-3 against Drew Brees, and both teams have had the ball once. When I see that happen, you know what I did? I left. Never checked in with the game again.
Really?
And what I'm saying to you is I wonder if that corrosion means anything. That slight corrosion where you don't know exactly why it is you're less interested, but you're less interested, and part of it might be the aesthetic. Because I'm telling you, that the first quarter I watched, Minnesota, it tainted my whole view of the game, even though Sam Bradford had 7 or 8 20-yard plays. The first quarter I watched was Drew Brees had it for 1 possession, field goal. Sam Bradford had it for 1 possession, field goal. And I'm like, and Sam Bradford, it was always this. 2nd and 7, 3rd and 3, first down for 4 yards, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 3-yard play. And I'm like, no thanks. Don't want to watch the rest.
First quarter gone.
Don't want to watch the rest of this.
That's what gambling's for. And fantasy. You'll stick around.
Yeah. Well,
I love the NFL as much as I've ever loved it.
No, gambling and fantasy will stick around, but I'm talking about the numbers are down.
Oh, they're down.
So somebody's leaving. And we're all blaming Kaepernick, and I'm telling you, I left Monday. And I would have liked to have seen Colin Kaepernick play in that game, in that first quarter, so that I would have gotten something other than what I got.
Batard.
La, 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 la. La, 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 la.
Stugotz.
Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I love so much the renegade personality in that sport. I mean, everyone will push against him to get him to stop doing stuff like that. But I long for the day when the Lamar Jackson or the best player in the sport is like Johnny Manziel without the drug problem. Johnny Manziel, just swaggering quarterback persona. Like, please give me the best player in college football, but even more than Manziel, because when Manziel did the interviews, he did the aw shucks in the interviews.
Yes.
But give me the quarterback who behaves like him, owns it, and nobody can do anything about it, and plants his flag at the middle of your field, and sis boom ba and sportsmanship, and none of that matters. Just give me the professional wrestler in that sport one time at that position.
It was like T.O., but not at wide receiver, not quarterback.
No, but make it the the best player in college football is going to go and he's going to give the Heisman speech, and you don't know what the hell he's going to say.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be thank this person, thank that person. It's going to be the Heisman speech.
It might be bleep this person and bleep that person.
That's please, dear Lord, bring that guy into my life at some point before you take the rest of my life. Thank you. Let's do the funniest thing of the sports weekend.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha, ha, ha!
Again, it is not the weekend. It is Wednesday, but it's our Monday. We had a storm here. We lost the internet. Chris, what do you got?
Marshawn Lynch shooting double middle fingers at the entire Tennessee Titans defense.
Welcome back, Marshawn. It was nice to have you. It really, it's a better place.
Yes.
The world is when Marshawn Lynch is playing football in it. Guillermo, what's the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Reds manager Brian Price was upset when Scooter Gannett got ejected from a game for arguing balls and strikes, so he went out to argue with the umpires, and then God Bless America started playing. So they just stopped their argument, took off their hats over their chest, Then when the song was done, they continued the argument.
Really?
Great.
Yeah.
It's kind of a movie or
I have
something.
not
It's funny.
seen that video. That is great.
Yes.
I'm surprised anyone saw it at a Reds game. Roy, what do you got?
Ted Cruz.
On sports, though.
Thank you.
Oh, it happened during Monday Night Football, Stugotz.
All right.
Oh, nice. Mike, what do you got?
I don't know if you saw Rob Gronkowski's tweet over the weekend as Hurricane Irma was barreling down on Florida. Right. He was very helpful. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's great.
From his Twitter account. Been following up on Hurricane Irma over the last few days. Did some research on hurricanes. Been learning a lot about Mother Nature. Good for him.
That's it?
That's it.
There's not a joke at the end of it. It's
No
just deep
follow-ups on
thoughts.
it, yep.
Deep thoughts
Been
with Rob
researching
Gronkowski.
hurricanes and been learning a lot about nature.
Good. And do you think that Gronk was like, wow, I'm growing. I'm growing as a person.
Yeah. That was my favorite tweet of the weekend. It was even better than Mike Lombardi's tweet. Colts are not avoiding losing. Have to avoid losing before you can win.
That's so true. So deep, too. Yeah, you do have, you cannot, I mean, I don't think that you can win unless you avoid losing. Can you?
No.
Stugotz, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Allen Robinson, the Jaguars wide receiver, was injured. Blake Bortles, his quarterback, came over to his injured wide receiver, his best wide receiver, and tapped the injured leg. And I am telling you, Dan, he didn't have a torn ACL. He would have gotten back up and played
and scored 2 touchdowns.
A couple of minutes later, Blake Bortles tore his
Really?
ACL.
Okay,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Wow, that's a shocking claim you're making. I saw this play. It can't have happened before. Louisiana Tech, they had 2nd and goal, and it became 3rd and 93. I mean, that's like a riddle. Like, how does that happen? They're playing in an enormous storm, and the ball, how? It's like a riddle. Again, 2nd and goal from the 6 became 3rd and 93.
3rd and goal from their own 7?
3rd and goal. That's right. That is correct. 3rd and goal from their own 7-yard line.
So did they convert?
Your best 93-yard play?
I can't
You
believe
give
that,
3rd
though.
and 93 to Aaron Rodgers. I'm not shutting the door on him.
What do you have here? Let's update the polls today. At Batard Show, let's update them.
Twitter poll is brought to you by Upside. Now say big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You'll love Upside.com. That's Upside.com. Is radio gross? 51% of the audience said yes. 51%.
We were talking about that Carson story in New York. Guy Ponzi schemed his way, allegedly.
Yeah.
Mother.
Yeah, that's a fine one, man.
Carson.
Mother.
Carson.
That's twice that guy's gotten me. Keep going, Stugotz.
What's going on with you? Are you worried about
You're
Jim
not the
Carrey?
only one he's getting.
Yeah. Are you worried about Jim Carrey? 56% of the audience said no. Is it surprising that someone in the radio industry named Carson was caught in a big scandal before Stugotz? 70% of the audience said yes. Thank you, everyone. Does Pereira hate the Blandino experiment?
That wasn't a compliment.
It felt like one. I'm surprised 30% said no. I was thanking them.
All right.
Does Pereira hate the Blandino experiment? Funny question.
It's a great question.
90% of the audience said yes. Does CBS Sunday football coverage feel like it has film on it?
Like one thin layer of film. No, I need to explain it to the audience, though. Like there's a thin layer of dirt on all of CBS's Sunday football coverage.
Well, 77% of the audience said yes. Do average players get chance? 56% of the audience said no.
Get chance, an average player. Oh, that's right. We were talking about Juan Encarnacion, and he had the chant of
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so he couldn't have been an average player because he had that chant.
Right. Does Rick Sutcliffe look like he could take it?
That was we were asking if Rick Sutcliffe looked like he could drink. I don't know why the question came out that way.
59% of the audience said yes. Has Maria Sharapova ever considered the idea a minor injury to Serena Williams that doesn't allow her to play anymore? 65% of the audience said yes.
I think you ate a word in there.
That's the way it was written. I should improvise, but that's the way it was written.
All right, Ron Burgundy.
Yes, that's on me. It's not on anyone else here. I am taking responsibility for my own actions.
$2.
What do you mean $2?
You're not taking responsibility. You're doing it the way Magic Johnson did.
It's Guillermo's fault!
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.